Okay, today something frustrated me, and I really wanted to post it on like Facebook, just on my regular page or whatever. But I thought finally I didn't because I thought it could be bad. But I was just like, why not post it somewhere that actually might make a difference, not just me griping. Although I do want to gripe, so I'm going to gripe to you about something. But there's a purpose here. Okay, there's two different things I want to gripe about, but I'm going to start with number one. So, okay, 5, 6 years ago, I was driving down Territorial, or Railway, sorry. I was driving down Railway. I was not in a hurry to get anywhere, but I was going to go home. I was just going to Walmart, and I was going to get some dog food, and then I was going to go home and see Elle, and my mom was watching her. And I was going 80 in a 50 zone. And the cops pulled me over. I'd never been pulled over by the cops. I was like totally terrified. I didn't know what to do. Or I pulled into the wrong spot and everything because I didn't know how to react to a cop. I'd never had a cop while working speak to me. And anyhow, they were like, "What were you doing?" They're like, "Why were you driving so fast?" And I said, "Oh, I'm in a hurry to get home. I was like, I have no idea." I was like, I just had to get dog food and I want to see my daughter. And they're like, "Is your daughter alone?" I was like, "No, of course not. She's with my mom." But anyway, I said, I don't know. I was thinking about that and I wasn't thinking and I was driving too fast and I was so sorry. I was just about crying because I was like, I'm a criminal. And I'm not telling you to go and do this or to lie because I wasn't lying, but I'm not just saying, let's just abuse the system and try to make things up. But I almost started crying and I was just like terrified, and they let me off. They said, "Be careful, don't do it again." And they let me off. And I was like, whoa, why the heck does this make me want to cry? Besides that, today was felt bad day. So I was like, okay, terrific. A week and a half later, or a month later, this cop stops me on Railway and in a speed trap, pulls me over. And just to clarify first, I did not get, obviously, a ticket the first time. So I was just like, okay, well, I can't speed. This is really bad. So I set my cruise at 48, maybe even 45. I was driving safe. He pulls me over in a speed trap and says, "Do you know how fast you're going?" And I was like, yeah, I do know how fast I was going. I was going 48 and I was mad. And the worst thing, I ended up being 11 days past my registration. I didn't know that. We had some miscommunications with, anyway, it doesn't matter. I was past my registration. I didn't know by 11 days. And I ended up getting a $500 and some ticket plus the speeding ticket. And I ended up appealing it in court. And I just asked the judge, just please have mercy. And I think it went down to 400 and some, still lots of money. And so I was like, okay, so I had the first time it was totally my fault. It was my fault. I left my registration. It's not a good thing to do. But I was just like, seriously? I was like, you wouldn't have pulled me over if you weren't going and cheating or whatever the heck he was doing. I was like, I was going 48. You're in the wrong. I was like, I wasn't too impressed with the cops. And then, so today, I got stopped about a week ago and in Cochin. And I was driving way too fast. And the cop ended up giving me only half as much of a ticket as it would cost if I got it for speeding the speed I was going. So I was like, oh, I sound like a speed demon. And so that was good. And that was good. But anyhow, I'm not saying you should go and try to break the law. You should not. So today I'm driving along and I kind of had that in mind that, I got to be really careful that I'm not speeding because I was speeding. I was just slowing down, coming down that hill, and I hadn't slowed down enough. And suddenly he stopped me. I was slowing down from 80 to 50, and I got clocked at 70. Well, he said 76. I thought I was going 68. So I was like, okay. So that was terrible. And I was like, I got to be really careful today. So just, in that 80 zone, anyway, in an 80 zone before Cochin, I was driving, and this was well before I got into Cochin. So I wasn't close to having to slow down to 50 even. But this cop passes me, and I set my alarm. I set my cruise at 75. It was painful, slow, but I set my cruise at 75. And I see this cop comes up, and he turned on the blue flashing light, and he went like that. So I was like, okay, gotta go down. I was like, what do I go down to? 50? I was like, I'm in the middle of here. I was so mad. And that was part of what I was going to post, that I'm not terribly impressed with the cops at this moment. I felt so unsafe. I was like, you're not making me feel